Welcome in, Darren Smith. We are live.
Live.
I don't know if anyone's watching yet. Looks like there are a couple people watching already. But wanted to let you know that it was live, so you didn't say anything that you didn't want to go out over the airwaves. How you doing, Darren?
I'm an open book, John.
All right, give me your thoughts on the top of the lineup then.
How does the mic sound? I put a little soundproofing up.
Sounds good.
Does sound a little better, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Does sound a little different.
I'm getting a lot less echo, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that my wife's going to love my decorating choices, but got to do what we got to do.
Got to sacrifice for the section sometimes, Darren.
Do have to sacrifice for the section. Can I just say that game was the absolute opposite of what I was expecting?
Why did it not feel like a playoff game?
It felt like a game at the end of May. And I know the Padres and Dodgers games usually carry a little bit of sizzle no matter where on the calendar it is. But that game, you could hear it. And I understand in a lot of these modern arenas, you're always beaten over the head with all the stand on your feet, clap your hands. But I heard that 3 or 4 different times during the broadcast. And I only could imagine it's like, yeah, what's going on here? This place feels like it's a funeral. Let's wake these people up a little bit. I was expecting that to be raucous. I was expecting that to be a little bit of a cauldron. And it just was nothing. Yeah, it felt like buns. I don't know what that means exactly, but I'm going to roll with that. It did. It felt, I don't know, like maybe it was just me. Maybe it was the way Kershaw was pitching, and the fact that nobody really did much of anything. What did we have? A couple of home runs, a couple of solo shots, a couple of sac flies, fielder's choice, right? Like,
yeah.
Just like there was just like not a lot of sizzle to the game. And I woke up thinking about this today. Like, oh yeah, like Padres, Dodgers tied or game up for the NL West, middle of August. And it's like, yeah, that one was a bit of a yawner, I must say.
Yeah, like from the very beginning of it, like Tatis got in the box against Kershaw, and Kershaw threw him like a fastball down the middle, pitch one, and Tatis swung at it and fouled it off. And it wasn't like one of those big Tatis swings where he's like, I'm going to hit this to the moon. Like it was a regular swing and he fouled it off. And I was just like, I don't know. Is the energy already kind of whatever? And then like the Arise at bats were terrible. Like I was keeping notes during this game and I wrote in the first inning, disgusting at bat from Arise. Like he was swinging. Every pitch was a foot outside the strike zone and he swung at all of them. It was so bad. Manny Machado looked disinterested in his at bats. Like outside of Freddie Fermin, who, what a psychopath. Seriously, kind of love that guy. What a psychopath. But outside of Freddie Fermin and Jackson Merrill, like they all just kind of looked bored when they were in the batter's box. And I like you, I thought it was going to be a playoff-like atmosphere. I was ready for a game where I'm standing in front of my TV going like, it's so tense. This next pitch is going to...
Yeah. Pick up smoking again.
Yeah. There's none of that. None of that.
Yeah. I mean, I was with you on that one. And it just didn't, I don't know. The game just didn't deliver, I guess. I guess it just didn't, whatever. It didn't meet my expectations. I'm not even saying that based on the result. I'm just saying there was something about the energy of the game that felt a little bit off to me. It was not what I was looking for. I can live with an exciting kind of playoff atmosphere, even in defeat, but I don't know. I was reminded of a story I heard watching Clayton Kershaw just throw that ball like 88 miles per hour. You and I were texting a little bit during the game. Yes, I can appreciate watching a first ballot Hall of Famer who's clearly at the end of his career, be a bit crafty in what it is and how it is that he's pitching. He's not that guy anymore that he used to be, humping it up there mid-90s. But I can't imagine that the Padre hitters aren't going to go back and be like, what? How did we not do better? How did we only have 2 hits in 6 innings against that? Because that really... Yeah, he knows how to pitch, and I'm with you, John. You were texting, you're right. I do appreciate that, but in a game with these kind of stakes, man, what was the scouting report that you made a guy throwing 88, 89 mile per hour fastballs look like, that was prime Greg Maddux. Again, he's Clayton Kershaw. I don't ever want to say, that greatness can't figure out a way to be great every once in a while. But man, those hitters got to be going back into the clubhouse tonight going, what? How did we? I know that's a thing with hitters. Like hitters always feel that way. Like when hitters have success, they're like, yo, that dude was nasty. That guy, oh man, like how did I even? And then when they have no success, they're usually like, that guy was shit. So I would have guessed there's a little bit of that going on tonight. Like how did we miss? Like how did we not have any success against this guy who's just, I don't know. That was disappointing.
Yeah. On the other side, if you want to look at any sort of positives, there are some. I saw someone earlier saying like, hold on, I can probably put it up here, that we left this game with more questions than answers. I don't know if that's true, but I left this game like, hey, look, Mike Schilt did a lot of good and a lot of bad in this game. You said when we recorded earlier that Mike Schilt was going to do a lot of managing in this series. Mike Schilt did a lot of managing in this series. The Freddie Fermin bunt with guys on first and second, no outs. I have a lot of problems with that. I could draw
You're down to your last 6 outs here, guy.
I could draw a direct line from that and then them losing this game, or at least not being able to tie up this game. But the Wandy Peralta opener into Randy Vasquez, like I think that really worked. And even though Randy had that series where it went like single, and then Manny can't dive and catch the bunt, and all of a sudden they get a fielder's choice sac fly and they get 2 runs. And that's bad, but like I thought Wandy pitched really well. I thought Vasquez pitched really well. And if that's what you're going into game 1 with, you're scrambling because Michael King's knee all of a sudden is barking at him, and you get 5 innings and 2 runs against this Dodgers team out of Wandy Peralta and Randy Vasquez, like that's the thing. Like I know I know Kershaw was throwing some slow pitches out there, but you get that kind of opportunity from Wandy Peralta and Randy Vasquez at Dodger Stadium. Like, what are you doing? You have to take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where I know Wandy Peralta has become a little bit of a punching bag for a lot of the fans, but it almost got to the point where I figured that this was scripted, right? He's going to see Freeman, and then you're going to get him out of there, which does raise a couple of interesting questions, right? Like you're not bringing Randy in a clean inning. Not something he's used to.
Yeah.
So, just a risk. I'm not, obviously he was capable.
Yeah, he did it. He was good.
But watching Wandy pitch, it crossed my mind. I was like, I don't know. Maybe you leave him in there. Maybe you see if you can get another couple outs here. I understand, I know where you're going in the order there and why you're pitching him. Yeah, I don't know. It crossed my mind, but no big deal. But yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I would think that, given that there was this scramble here and you had to get Randy Vasquez on a flight, it was pointed out by Mudd, and it was something that was I thought, obvious, that you could see that Freddie Fermin was doing a lot of coaching behind the plate with Randy Vasquez.
Yeah.
You could definitely see that he was trying to say, like, there was a little bit of frustration there. Like, I can see what you're doing. You got to be a little bit better than this. I thought he was a tough luck loser, quite honestly. I think, that's one of those people ask all the time, if there was one rule in baseball, would you change it? It would have been one of those, not to get wrapped up in this sort of silliness, but the third run was the run that, the home run from Teoscar Hernandez, which came from off Johnny Estrada, was the run that cost them the game.
Jeremiah Estrada.
Jeremiah Estrada.
Johnny Estrada was the catcher with the giant chest and shoulders.
Right. So, the homer from Hernandez is the one, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying here. That's not the way scoring works in Major League Baseball, but I think and I've said it for years, it's not just based on tonight, that's the way I think scoring should work in baseball, but it's not, so there's no real point in going over it. Yeah, and then it was also just this weird hodgepodge of, well, this reliever is our high leverage guy, and then, Jeremiah, and then Yuki, and I don't know. I mean, it kind of worked, but, I think sometimes it was a little bit all over the place tonight.
Yeah.
It just seemed like everything was just a little kind of scrambly.
Well, so I said to you earlier, because you said something about, Schiltz managing like it's game 7. And I was like, well, you can't really do that because Cease is tomorrow and you can't just burn your whole bullpen. Otherwise, this would be a bullpen day. But like, I didn't mean ignore your bullpen. And by opening with Wandy Peralta and, Jeremiah Estrada gives you a good inning and you throw him out there for another one. And when that doesn't work, you're calling it up Yuki Matsui. And it's like, guy, nothing against those guys. Nothing against Wandy Peralta and Yuki Matsui. but you have 5 or 6 relievers in your bullpen who have been incredibly dominant, and the 2 of them pitched today, and the other 2 relievers were from the other pile. And it just, I don't know. It was almost like he was protecting his bullpen too much, not taking this game as seriously as possible. I saw a lot of people when Yuki Matsui was running in going like, Schiltz just running out the white flag and playing for the rest of the series. And I don't think that's true, but between that and the fact that Ryan O'Hearn just like cannot get in this lineup, neither Ryan O'Hearn or Gavin Sheets will ever see the field when there's a lefty on the mound. Apparently, it's just it feels like Schilt hasn't quite figured out how to optimize this entire team. But look, if you had asked me that yesterday, I probably would have told you, wow, he's really figured out how to optimize this team. They're playing great. I don't know.
First of 13 consecutive? I think I have that right.
What do you mean?
Aren't the Padres, this is game 1 of 13 consecutive days
that
without they have to play?
Without a day off?
Right.
I didn't know that, but that sounds right based on the amount of times I've looked at the schedule.
And number 2, the thing about O'Hearn that's interesting, because your point's it's a good one here, that you didn't get the matchup you wanted there,
right?
And that's the problem. Like that is the issue, is that by the time you got O'Hearn in that game, Dave was able to go to the bullpen and find a lefty.
Yeah.
So it was the last batter of the game.
Yes.
But you want to put that guy, like the whole reason why you save a guy like that is so that you can put him in the situation that's advantageous to you.
Right.
And Dave turned that around and said, no, this is going to be advantageous to us.
Right.
And he got him in that spot because he could go to the bullpen because Jackson got the hit, right? So,
right.
By the time you had that guy, you put him in a position where, it wasn't advantageous to you. So, I don't know that was being outmanaged, but, that was, I don't know how else to say it, but that's the whole reason why you save a guy like that. You're like, oh, if you're going to save a guy all the way up until the 27th out of the game,
yeah, then
you're saving him for something. You're not saving him just to allow the other team's manager to go out there and be like, yeah, we've got a lefty here, so we're gonna shut this shit down right now,
right.
So like that's you boxed yourself in with that. Just at the end of that game here. So, I guess, that is managing. I shouldn't say it's not managing.
No, it is.
I don't want to make it sound like it's some massive indictment, but like that's kind of an issue there. Like that was kind of the issue when you're saving a guy for that long, you kind of want to put him in a position where you feel like I've got the upper hand now.
I started wondering, maybe I'm giving the benefit of the doubt here, but like O'Hearn's one of the better hitters on the team. And like, it seems like Mike Schilt's thing is like, I'm going to keep him in my pocket until I can put him out there against a righty pitcher. And everyone knows you're doing that. And so in this case, Dave was just like, yeah, I'm going to wait for him to do that. And I'm going to switch it up on him. I forget the point that I was going to make because I started reading comments. It was about O'Hearn. It doesn't really matter. We can
move on. Starting at first, getting him more bats.
I know what I was going to say. They traded
he's probably not going to get him in there tomorrow because it's Snell.
Right.
So you're going to have to wait till late.
They traded for O'Hearn and they traded for Laureano, knowing that Luis Ariz is playing every day at first base. And so now you're stuck in a situation where they don't trust either one of them to face a lefty. And Laureano's playing every day at left, and Ariz is playing every day at first. And so you have 2 guys in Sheets and O'Hearn who are 2 of the better hitters on your team that have essentially been put into not just a platoon, but they're splitting a platoon amongst themselves. And it just feels like I know what I was going to say. It got to the point where I was like, this is such bad managing, like the O'Hearn situation, that I wonder if when they traded for him, if the front office gave like a note down to management and said, absolutely never against a left-handed pitcher. Because I actually was like, this feels like more than a manager thing. This feels like an organizational decision of absolutely never against a left-handed pitcher.
And you ended up having to do it anyway. Right. Because, that must have been such a satisfying walk for Dave. Just to be like, yeah, I got a lefty here. I gotcha. I gotcha here. You waited too long to pull the trigger on this guy, and I've got a pitcher for that. That must have been one of the more satisfying walks for him. I know everybody was expecting some sort of shenanigans, but it was just the opposite of that. It was the complete opposite of that. Listen, top of the order went what did I write it down? 0 for 14 with one walk tonight. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That was Fernando and Arise and Machado. And so Xander, they went 0 for 14 with one walk. So we could talk about 7, 8, 9 and how much better it's been, but I don't like I just don't like the chances. I don't like the Padres' chances when those four are going 0 for 14. And, not exactly really, out there battling. Not a lot of great at bats from that group either.
No.
I understand sometimes that first pitch you're going to see might be the best one, but Manny's swing against Trinan late was bad.
The only one of those four that I thought gave decent at bats tonight was Bogarts. I thought Bogarts, and like he made good contact. It got caught. He struck out one time, but I think his other bats were good. Walking into this series a couple days ago, we were like, oh, it's King. And then it's Cease, and then it's Darvish, and they've been pitching well, and like everything's lining up really well. And then I told you that the King injury just set off my anxiety. And I'm like, it just feels like it could really domino into something bad here. And then Freddie Fermin runs chest first into a pole, and like essentially knocks himself out, or at least knocks the wind out of him. I could almost guarantee you he's got like a bruised sternum. And now all I can think about is if he can't catch tomorrow and all of a sudden Cease is thrown off because he's been doing his whole workup with Fermin, like what if we get a terrible Cease start? And Cease just like, oh, I was so thrown off because I thought I was throwing a Fermin, and then Freddie had to sit because his chest had a giant black bruise in the middle of it that looked like the dugout pole. Like it can really spiral here, Darren, and go the other way.
I mean, it can, and I wouldn't go overboard based on that snoozer. I don't know that there was anything, but I appreciate.
But do you think Fermin is going to play tomorrow?
I would think so. I mean, he seems like he's a bit of a psycho.
Yeah.
He was
didn't
able to swing
out
the
of the
bat.
game.
He was able to throw out Shohei Ohtani, stealing a base. That was amazing.
He got a hit and threw out Ohtani after that.
He threw out Shohei Ohtani. That was I know that guy's really good at stealing bases, but with Will Smith at the plate, that was an interesting choice after they had scored a couple of runs. Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to think he's not going to play just because he stayed in the game. So, but I suppose we'll wait. We'll see. Yeah.
I don't want Diaz's
Did you
bat
see
in the lineup.
Dylan's tweet, by the
About
way?
Manny?
Letters to AJ? No.
Oh, about OSHA?
He said something about Freddie Fermin, unsafe work environment, and he tagged OSHA.
Yes. It's fantastic.
That was very funny. Tip of the cap, Dylan, from Letters to AJ. Just tagging OSHA so he could say, what an unsafe work environment this Dodger Stadium is. Almost killed a catcher. So, I mean, I think he's probably going to be in there. He had a chest protector on. That was some interesting camera work. Where all of a sudden, Fermin's crotch was right in everybody's face.
They also, like, he obviously was, like, couldn't catch his breath or something, and they had a camera, like, an inch away from his face, and my wife sitting next to me going, like, switch to another camera. This is unfair. Like, no one else has to deal with this ever. Like, come on. Give the man some peace.
Yeah. Then the replay,
the replay was a lot. It was too much.
Came right into your face, right into your living room there, depending on the size of your television. So, yeah, that was. I don't know. He's probably going to be in there. I'm not going to. I don't fret about that. I mean, I don't know. What can you say? I mean, those at bats were just. Everything looked. It just all looked tired. Everything just looked. I remember a college coach of mine saying. An off day is usually a day off is usually followed by an off day. Maybe that was it. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like. I don't know why that would be the case, but I don't know.
Yeah, I saw someone on the Discord who said during the game they were like, Manny looks hungover, and I was like, first of all, don't do that. Like, let's not disparage the man's character. That being said, if he were to be hungover, I imagine that's how those at bats would go. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the Trinan one was
all of them. He made like good contact once, but yeah, it was rough, man.
It was. Yeah, it was. And again, I know it's Clayton Kershaw out there. I remember there was an opening day. I want to say it was 2006, 2007, something like that. Jake Peavy was pitching. It was Padres and Giants up in San Francisco. We took the radio show up there, and Peavy was pitching against Barry Zito. and the Padres hitting coach at the time was Merv Redmond in his second act as Padres hitting coach.
Okay.
So he was the hitting coach in 1998. Then he came back. He was the hitting coach. He might have been the hitting coach 3 times, but he definitely came back and he was the hitting coach in the mid 2000s.
Okay.
And I remember one of the players told me afterwards that the hitters meeting before that game was Merv, who had this really dry-witted sense of humor, classic baseball character. And he's like, guys, Barry Zito, the only thing plus about this dude is his paycheck. He doesn't have anything. Like, it's up to you guys just to go out there and figure out a way to get this guy and knock him around a little bit. And that's the thing. I felt the same thing when I was watching Kershaw. And I was like, there's nothing plus about this guy at all.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's...
And they just looked lost. They looked completely lost. And I don't get it. That being said, I do love, I don't know if it's ever going to matter, but I do love, I don't know if you've seen this, Mason Miller's history against Shohei Ohtani is like dominant.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he got him good tonight.
And
Shohei buckled.
And he came in tonight and he buckled him and dominated him again. And I like that they just have like they have the Ohtani like answer out of the bullpen. Like, oh, Ohtani's coming up. We don't need to be afraid. Have some Mason Miller. Now, he's Shohei Ohtani. He might figure it out at some point. He probably will. But as of right now, when you need Shohei Ohtani in the top of that Dodgers lineup, sit down. Mason Miller's the guy to do it. So at least it was that.
Yeah, I mean, 4 hits per team. Not a lot going on there. Not even 11 punch outs. Dodgers punched out 11 times tonight. I must admit that's a high number. I did not realize that until I'm just sitting here looking at the box score.
Yeah, Peralta had 2, Estrada had 2, Miller had 2.
Will Smith struck out 3 times tonight.
Who did?
Will Smith.
It's a 308 hitter. Look at that. That's like a perfect slash line. 300, 400, 500. Yeah. It feels like a missed opportunity. Maybe I'm still thinking of the Dodgers of old, but it really feels like a missed opportunity. And I do kind of live in fear of Blake Snell. I know you're not the world's biggest fan, but he could come in and look ridiculous tomorrow.
He can. There's no doubt. I'm not a big fan, but I recognize the talent. Guy won a Cy Young Award a couple years ago.
His second
would have been my vote, but I would have. I recognize the talent. He's capable of punching out 10, 11 guys here in 4 or 5 innings. So he doesn't go deep into these games, but he makes the most of it. He drops his ordinance. He gets as much out of these starts as he possibly can. So I recognize that tomorrow it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I also think it's another crack at the bullpen. Their bullpen only had to piece together 4 innings tonight. That's not something I would have expected. Getting that extra inning out of Kershaw to me,
I know.
I think, that's one of those where you're like, God, it's not even that you didn't get to him and you only had a couple of hits, but like you also let him go 6 too. Like you couldn't even chase him from this game. You let him leave on his terms.
And he only threw 76 pitches. Like it's not even like he got up to 100 to do that. He probably could have gone another one if they really needed him to. So tomorrow we can end on this unless you have anything else. Tomorrow, lefty, Blake Snell. Who's the DH for the Padres? Or who's the first baseman if you think there's a chance that it's not Luis Arraez? Is Ryan O'Hearn or Gavin Sheets getting in this game?
Without knowing matchups and numbers, and maybe somebody has a little bit of success against them. There were, how many lefties were in there today? Arraez was in there today. Merrill was in there today. Cronenworth 3. Yeah, I feel like that's probably about right. Who's DHing tomorrow? I
guess it's just going to keep on being Jose Iglesias, who, when they signed him, they were like, man, this guy's glove is amazing. And now he's the friggin' designated hitter against lefties.
We've seen Manny get off his feet a little bit more defensively.
That's true.
I'm inclined to think that, they're not putting O'Hearn out there against lefties, so I'm not going to expect him to start. But
can't sit Laureano, so Sheets is not in left.
Absolutely not.
Maybe Sheets gets in as the DH.
Maybe. Yeah, sometimes those lefties get a little spooked when they see a couple of lefty bats. They're like, "Oh, what? Do they have something on me? What's going on here?" So, I'm not predicting that, but all I know is how long was tonight's game?
Oh, I didn't even look. It
I
was
have it right here.
it was pretty long, right?
Yeah, tomorrow will be longer. No, 2:32. Not bad. That's manageable.
Tomorrow will be a lot longer.
Tomorrow will be longer. But at least it starts an hour earlier.
Yeah, right.
So
we'll be right back here at 10 o'clock. Though.
yeah, I mean, I wish I had more to say about this game. Like, it just was really kind of a dry game.
It was boring.
Like, it really was just kind of dull, and there really wasn't a lot going on there. And I think there were a couple of questionable things that were done, like I said, with the pinch hitting, with the bunting. But I think ultimately what it comes down to is that the Padre hitters are just going to, they're probably just going to be scratching their heads trying to figure out how they let 75-year-old Clayton Kershaw in an old timers game get away with that.
Yeah, you can't go.
I mean, I do respect it. I really do. I know,
but you can't go 0 for 14 from the top four in your lineup and expect to win. You just can't.
I know. I mean, that's why. I mean, all the rest of my notes were really sort of stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, they had that weird stat about Laureano about how he has one of the most closed batting stances in baseball. It's like, wow, who came up with that one? He's 4 degrees closed. That's one of the highest. Like, what? Where did we?
I mean,
were you even paying attention at that point?
No, I was. They were trying to tell a story about how if you look at his stats, they got bad because he opened up because he had a sports hernia and he was trying to protect it, but now he's feeling healthy, so he can close it again. I get where they were coming from, but yeah, having the stat on the screen was maybe a little bit too much.
I don't know. I just never heard of that stat that people kept tabs on how closed off people's batting stances were.
There's a lot of stuff on StatCast. All right, there's our buddy Caesar saying he's going to the game at Dodger Stadium tomorrow and he's bringing home a W. So let's hope so. Let's hope so. We can go into Game 3 still wondering who's winning the series and who's going to be in first place. That would be ideal.
And how many pitches out of this bullpen tonight? Let's see.
So Miller had 14. Matsui
No, I was looking at theirs.
Total. Oh, theirs.
Yeah.
Trinan threw one pitch.
One pitch.
Dryer.
There's a great story about Trinan out there. You'll remind me to tell it tomorrow.
Okay. I will.
How he took less money to return to the Dodgers, but yeah.
Okay. I hope it doesn't have anything to do with Ted Nugent.
No, but it has 100% to do with where the Dodgers were going to visit this year.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it does kind of have something to do with Ted Nugent. Yeah. So Alex Vesia, Diaz, I think it's Alexis Diaz, and they're probably not going to pitch tomorrow. I mean, I guess they could. They threw 20 pitches. Kasparius threw 17, maybe. But Trinan and Dryer I didn't even know Trinan was like healthy. Trinan and Dryer could easily pitch tomorrow, no problem.
Yep, Miller should be good to go. I would think that Jeremiah will probably not be good to go.
Yeah, he threw 29 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, fair to say, like, are you pushing it with Estrada, asking for a second inning out of him?
I don't know. You didn't have to.
Yeah.
David Morgan sitting right there. Whatever. Let's call it. We'll be back tomorrow after tomorrow's Padres game doing probably the same thing.
I felt like it was a bad omen when I dropped the bottle of wine right before. I was just on my way to walk upstairs and watch the game, and I dropped the whole bottle of wine on the kitchen floor. I was like, man, that doesn't...
It didn't shatter, did it?
It did.
Did it really?
I actually posted a picture of the shattered bottle. Yeah.
That's hard to shatter a wine bottle.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. And now we're both getting texts from...
I know. We're getting texts from Caesar about the comments of this live stream, which means it's time to end it. Let's do it tomorrow, Darren.
Oh, I didn't even see the comments. I'm not even paying attention. You are.
Yeah. There's a Dodger fan who's in our comments who's being respectful, but also defending Clayton Kershaw and getting into fights with other people. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, I mean, I do appreciate that a great pitcher can go out there and he can, I mean, I think this is probably something that we'll expect. If Yu Darvish is going to keep pitching, this is probably something that we'll see from you at some point, where it's not just going to be 95, 96 anymore. And there is a lot of me that does appreciate that, but I just think that these were opportunities for the Padre hitters to punish him, and they let him off the hook.
Well, and they had the stat right in the beginning of the game that Kershaw over the last 2 seasons has basically been like tanked by the Padres. Like, everything before that he's incredible, but the last 2 seasons it's like an ERA like 7.5.
He's a killer, man. 23-11 all time against the Padres. I mean, he's absolutely killed them, which is why I thought it was like a great opportunity to go there and really slay one of your demons, but. It didn't happen. It's the way the sports world works sometimes. So get them tomorrow. Credit. I have no problem giving a little bit of credit, but I'm just telling you, those hitters, they're going to be sitting around going, man, like they were right over the plate. I mean, and these things were not coming in here hot at all.
Do you think they're spending the night in LA? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they stay in Pasadena, but
I mean, it's right around the corner from Dodger Stadium. So
yeah, why? What do you think? They're going to drive home?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe like a starting pitcher will or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe Randy Vasquez on his way home.
Well, let's hope this is a more entertaining game tomorrow.
For sure.
So it'll make a more entertaining post show.
Yeah. Or a win. Either way.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take either, but a win would be nice. A boring win would be nice, but you know,
An exciting win would be better.
I think so.
I want a playoff atmosphere, damn it.
Yeah, I know. It's just a weird energy in the building tonight. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah. Me neither.
Everybody clap your hands. All right, peace out.